Alright guys, we have now successfully brined our turkey. In the last video that we did was showing you how to brine it. So this is what it looks like after it's been sitting for 16 hours, 8 hours minimum. I flipped it halfway through that, give it a stir. You can see all the lovely herbs and seasoning on the bottom right here that we flavored our turkey with. So I'm going to go ahead, we're going to get rid of this, don't save it. Just pour it out.
And why don't you want to save it?
Because it's super salty and there's your bird is seasoned.
Well, and you have potential salmonella in the liquid, right?
You do, but you can boil it out. But we don't need it because this is so much salt that it won't be good. Alright, so there we go. Beautiful bird here. Drain it. And then I'm going to put it on a sheet tray here. And then we'll just tuck our wings under
the wings in.
Like so.
How do you do that?
Let's take the wing and the tip right here and we just literally bring it under. And what that will do will help keep our bird.
Can I see?
So I'll do it again. So what they mean is like right here you have the loose wing, and if you cook it it'll just flap. This will burn. So you take the wing like so.
And why will it burn?
Because it's smaller than all the pieces of the meat and it's just hanging out. So you want to tuck it in like so it'll be uniform. And it'll cook nice and easily. So tuck it in
as if it's putting hands behind your neck.
Yeah, there you go. It's taking a rest. Nice sunbathing in our smoker or oven, wherever you're going to do. So right now we're just going to do this like this. I'm going to keep it in the refrigerator because you want to dry the skin. You want to make the skin as dry as possible so it'll be nice and crispy.
Because it's wet right now. We will look at that.
So that'll take about a couple hours. Give it a nice pat dry too, to kind of help it along.
With paper towel?
Yeah. Which I ran out of, but that's okay.
Well, just to demonstrate.
Yeah, just to demonstrate, get all that excess
moisture
off.
And we still don't put anything in the cavity yet.
Not yet. We'll do that right when it's ready to put either in the smoker or the oven, depending on what you're going to do with it. Alright, so now it's ready to
be put in
hang
the fridge.
out. But look real quick, you can see all the seasoning up in the meat.
Yeah, you don't want to necessarily take that off. So it's just literally pat dry. Do not wipe dry. Pat dry.
It doesn't matter because we're going to put a little more seasoning on it.
Well, I would think you'd kind of want some of what was marinating.
You do, but I'm pointing out that it's the turkey sucked it in. You can see it changed colors. It's not that nice white anymore. So it absorbed all those lovely flavors that we put in. So here we go. Go chill out in the refrigerator.
Make sure you got room.
Yep, we gotta make sure.
Bye, bird.
Bye. Alright, now that our skin is nice and dry, I made a beautiful compound butter. So you just take some room temperature butter and I mix about 4 tablespoons of that no salt seasoning again. 1 tablespoon of garlic granulated and 1 tablespoon of poultry seasoning.
And what is compound butter?
Compound butter is butter where you mix herbs and spices into your butter and then you would wrap it in plastic wrap into a log again, and you can put it back into your refrigerator and harden. Then you can cut slivers off, you put on steak or chicken, and it just melts and all that beautiful herb seasoning.
Is that a little different than infused butter? Or is that the same thing?
It's the same thing, except for infused butter. I mean, you're infusing the flavor in the butter, which is what a compound butter is. So yes, it is the same thing. So first, we got, I loosen the skin. Just carefully move your hand and remove the skin, or not remove it, but just loosen it. Just take your time, because you don't want to rip the skin. and all the way to with the legs. And I'm going to take some of our beautiful butter, and this will also help keep our bird nice and moist as well, and just add a little bit more flavor to it. And you're just going to massage these beautiful breasts with our butter here, like so.
Is it a little tough too? Like, do you want this butter room temperature?
Yes, you want to do this room temperature. That way you can easily spread it like I'm doing. If you do this when it's hard and cold, it's going to be a nightmare. So you just want a nice layer of butter, like so. It's kind of protect our thing. Yes, it will melt off, but that's okay. Giving us the flavor here. And then also I stuffed the cavity, as you can see a little bit here. I'll show you, with some apples and carrots and celery and onion, sage, garlic, all aromatics. So the amount of butter I use is, this is 1 pound. And this,
so anywhere you can get under the skin.
anywhere you can get our skin to help it in there. Make the leg. Like I said, take your time. Stuff it in there. Kind of use the skin to your advantage to kind of push it around.
You know, I know a trick to make room temperature butter. You take a cup of boiling hot water and you put it in a glass.
Uh-huh.
And then you let it sit in the glass for probably a good amount of time. And then, of course, with a oven mitt, you take the stick of butter and you put it under the glass upside down.
Okay.
And you let it sit for a while, and it actually will soften your butter up to room temperature.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, what does that sound mean?
Oh, I got an oven going for
We have
our next video.
oven temperature.
For our next video, I have the oven going, ready and waiting. So just get that butter in there as best you can. Give it extra little flavor. And then,
And if you can help it, don't break the skin.
yeah, and then just give it a nice little rub on the outside here, like so. This is about a 12-pound turkey, so this is more than enough butter for this. So if you're going to use a real big turkey, probably just double the amount of butter.
And how much butter did you make? I'm sorry?
This is 1 pound of butter.
1 pound butter.
So just give it a nice massage on the outside. This is going to also help brown our turkey.
Now this isn't clarified butter, right?
Well, this is unsalted butter. So thank you for mentioning that. It's actually unsalted butter because we brined our turkey, so we don't need to add any more salt. Let's give our birdie a nice little quick rub here. Like so.
As it cooks with this butter, is the butter going to burn?
The butter's just going to melt off.
Just going to melt off.
Yes. Because I'm doing it on the grill, it's just going to melt off. It's fine. Alright, give it a nice little rub here. And then whatever's left, you can melt down and then baste your bird with it as it's cooking.
But you can't really use it now since you've touched raw meat.
When you boil it in the oven, you're going to boil it on the stove, it'll be fine. Because right now, you can't. You want to boil it first, to melt the butter, and then you're going to use that melted butter to baste the turkey with. Alright. So just give your hands a nice little wipe. And it has a nice little rub of butter, which I forgot to tell you. Also this stretch the skin right here where the cavity is, I like to poke a hole. And I like to take the legs and then cross them over like so. And this is pretty much what you're doing, is that you trust the bird. The skin, when it cooks, is going to tighten, like using the string. I just don't like using string if I can help it. So if you can pull that off, that's awesome. Let's make sure there's skin's covering everything. Put some of your stuff in the cavities here, and that'll help with cooking.
What do you have in the cavity?
Again, I got apples and carrots and celery, a little bit of rosemary, sage, parsley, all chopped up fine in there. Onions, just some nice aromatics, and that's going to help steam on the inside, help it keep it warm. Not warm, but keep it moist. So now I'm going to put this on my smoker. I do a little bit different in the oven. I've been doing it like Alton Brown does, except minus the butter. He puts a piece of foil over it. He cranks the oven up to 500 degrees, and he puts the foil on top. You can do that method, but this one I'm going to do on the smoker. So I cranked it up to about 500. That's going to help crisp our skin really quickly, or get it started. And then I'm going to lower it down to about 325. And this one will probably take about 3 to 4 hours or so, but use a probe thermometer that takes the guessing out. So first, that's it. So I'm going to go throw this on the grill and wait for 4 hours, and I'm going to baste it if it needs to. Alright guys, after 30 minutes at 500, you can see the skin starting to tighten to brown. I obviously didn't do a good job making sure my skin was tight, so just make sure that you pull that skin really nice, kind of tuck it in. But other than that, this has turned out really nicely. I got a meat probe in there that's going to tell me when it's done. You want to pull this off when it gets to 160. The carryover cooking time will definitely make sure that it carries on over. So definitely I recommend always getting a meat probe thermometer. And I lowered this down to 325, and I forgot to mention that I'm using applewood pellets here. You can use whatever pellets you want to. I like applewood, so just use whatever wood you prefer. And here we go. So this will probably be done in about 3 hours or so. Usually, it's about like 25-20 minutes a pound, I believe. But other than that, I can't wait. Here we go. And about every 30 minutes, I'll come in and brush it with just a little bit of butter. Make sure that bird is nice and brown. Alright guys, our turkey has hit our mark. A nice golden brown here. Love these meat thermometers, takes the guessing out. It did take about 3 hours or so, but this was a little bird. And I cooked this at about 325. So there you go. Now we just gotta let this rest before we can cut it in, otherwise the juices will just leak out. Our bird is rested. We'll take out our innards here.
And that you just throw away?
Yeah, throw it away. You don't need any of this.
Just there to season?
Yeah. I mean, you can eat it if you want to, but...
It won't hurt you, right?
No. Not unless you didn't cook it all the way. Alright, so you can see the skin right here. What I meant by it trusted, it kept the legs from opening up. We got our wings that are nice and cooked, all tucked back, relaxed. So we're gonna go ahead and cut our turkey.
Where do you usually start? Is there a method to how you carve a turkey?
I kind of just do
Like
whatever
I see
my
you're
way.
starting with the legs. Is that how you usually do it?
Well, for me, a little bit, only just because I want to cut it away a little bit, just so I can easily move it. out of the way so when I cut the breast, it'll come right off so you can see the skin. So just whatever way you feel more comfortable doing. There's no real rhyme or reason. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Follow our breastbone here.
That's my favorite part. I really like white meat. I'd eat it all though, but white meat, yeah.
Oh yes, look at that. Beautifully cooked. I mean, you use a thinner knife to do this because this is just to carve it off, but there we go. Kind of just rushing here for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm just super excited and I know how good this is gonna taste. So there we go. Get it off our breastbone here.
Who would carve the turkey at your Thanksgiving? Excuse me.
My
Burp
dad.
alert.
My dad used to for a while. And then, man, I'm really sucking today, huh? Maybe if I take it off a slippery cutting board, that might be smart.
That might be helpful.
There we go. But you can see it's nice and juicy. So there you go. Removed. Beautiful. Nice and moist. This is why you let it rest.
So if you had cut it right when it had come off of the grill or the oven,
or smoker,
smoker,
or the grill or the oven,
it would what? All of that juice would just ooze out, right?
Yeah, look how beautiful moist that is because of the brining, and we let it rest. Look, you can see the juices are on the cutting board. Here we go, Katie. I know how much you like that.
Wow.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
You can see it in my finger there.
That was like literally like I can't even tell you. That is so ridiculously tender and so moist. That's why it's important to brine it. Pull it out early. See the beautiful smoke ring around our turkey here. All this nice pink tone is the smoke. Mmm. Beautiful skin. Well, there we go. And this is why too, right here. You know, look how tight that is. So those legs aren't going anywhere. This is Katie's favorite part at the fair. Beautiful drum leg.
Drum, 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 drum.
Mm-hmm. That pops out. Cut it around the joint. And there you go. You got yourself a thigh. And just follow it here too. Spread it open. Wait for it to pop out. And there you go. You got yourself a turkey leg. You got yourself your thigh. Here we go. Dark meat. Ho ho ho. That's ridiculously good, guys. That smoke flavor is beautiful. Oh yeah. Well, thanks for joining me and Katie. I hope you make this for your Thanksgiving. I'll post the recipe in the comments and at the end. Happy Thanksgiving.